Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered with Nikki Dawson. So, I have been much more MIA than usual. I am going to be honest and say that I have been super stressed and feeling quite anxious lately. And honestly, it's really hard to show up on social media and do things like this and put myself out there when I'm really just not feeling it. But today I was like, Nikki, come on. Like, I'm meant to be, well, in my mind, I'm meant to be putting out a podcast at least every Thursday, and now it's Sunday and I haven't done it. So today I was like, okay, I didn't really have many plans today. I did have a couple of things on my to-do list that I absolutely had to get done. But then I was like, no, you are sitting down and you are going to do a podcast no matter how you feel. And yeah, I'm going to talk more about it because I think people don't share this side of life enough on social media. Like, I think maybe to a certain extent, people are sharing more of the lows, but not really. People's lives look pretty perfect on social media. And since the very start, well, actually, no, that is a lie. Because at the start, I didn't actually share anything personal about myself. It was only like cooking videos and literally didn't share my face. So when I decided to start showing my face and talking a bit more on my social media, I was like, I'm going to show up as me, and no matter what, I'm going to say it how it is. And I do talk a lot about my mental health and what's going on in my personal life. Obviously, I don't talk about every single little thing because to a certain extent, I'm like, I don't really feel the need to share that. But I think it is good to share these things because often people are quite shocked when I do say to them, this is how I'm feeling. They're like, what do you mean? Like, you can't be feeling like that because you look like this on the outside and you also just don't show that you're feeling this certain way. So let me give you an example. Like, I suffer with anxiety, and like I mentioned, recently it has been particularly bad, but you would never know just from talking to me unless I said, hey, I'm feeling terrible today. I don't feel good. And I actually wanted to talk about it. But otherwise, I really do cover it up quite well. And I think I did that for quite a number of years, and nobody ever knew that I was such an anxious person because I always do put myself together. I always have makeup on. I put nice clothes on, and I also talk in a certain way. So people often think, Nikki, you really have your life together. But on the inside, sometimes I'm just like breaking down, and I don't really like to put that stuff on other people. But sometimes when I need the support, I will start talking about it. And I do have very supportive friends, and they're always there for me to talk. Certain friends I don't talk to about this stuff because I don't want to put that on them. But the friends that I do talk to about it, they're really good. They're really supportive. But yeah, often, like, say at work, for example, if I said to somebody, oh my gosh, I'm feeling so anxious, I feel so terrible today. And they're like, no, like you really don't seem like it. I'm like, I am literally dying on the inside. But you'd never know. You'd never know. So I think to a certain extent, cracks definitely do form for me. So you'd see it. Maybe the tone of my voice might change, or I might do something erratic or like snap a little bit. So to me, I feel like that's noticeable. Maybe some people don't particularly notice, but yeah, I was having a conversation with one of my sort of like newer work colleagues. They have only been at my workplace for maybe about 3 months, maybe less. And we were sitting at lunch talking about anti-anxiety medications and the stigma around them, etc. And I just said, because I'm on anti-anxiety medication and it's something that I've been on for maybe like a year and a half now. Honestly, it has changed my life, and I'm not sitting here trying to promote anybody going on anti-anxiety medication, but for me, it is something that I needed because I really couldn't push past the anxiety that I was having to actually implement strategies to help with my anxiety. So that's really, really helped. And in every aspect of my life, like I feel so much more confident. I feel like I can actually be me because it just really has taken the edge off. And so when I was sitting at lunch with my work colleagues, I did say, like, I'm on anti-anxiety medication. And this work colleague was like, what? Like, I'd never know that you were like that. And I was like, yeah, what can I say? You shouldn't judge somebody from the outside just because I look like I'm put together. And like to a certain extent I am, and I'm constantly working on myself. I'm constantly working on the things that I know I should be better at. So I think stress is definitely one of them. I don't get particularly stressed with everyday things, but recently, because of everything with like my family's health issues, like dad's health issues, and having to do a lot more with mum, thinking about the future for them as well, that has been very scary to think about. And just some other things going on in my personal life as well. But I'm not going to talk about that stuff because it's making me feel particularly anxious and it's making me feel mad as well. So yeah, let's save that for another day when I'm cooled down about that. But people are probably like, Nikki, I could never imagine you getting angry. And I literally am like, no, you have no idea. You have no idea. I don't think I've mentioned before that I'm a Scorpio, and people are like, oh, Scorpio, but you don't seem like it. I 100% am. I 100% am a Scorpio when I get a little bit feisty. But I really try not to be like that. I think when I was younger, I was so feisty. I would just straight off the bat, if anybody annoyed me, I would really lash out. But now I definitely am a lot more controlled. I'm a lot more diplomatic these days as well. So say like somebody says something quite offensive and I'm like, well, have you thought about it in this way? Or I'll actually say, no, I don't agree with that. So yeah. Anyways, shall we do a bit more of a recap of the week? So last Wednesday, Shane went back to... No, he didn't go back on Wednesday. He went back on Tuesday. So a day early, he flew out. So... And then I had the weekend to myself in the house. So one of my housemates was in Melbourne and the other one flew out to site on Friday. So the house was to myself. And I straight away, when one of the girls left for her swing, I cleaned the whole house, absolutely spotless. It feels so nice to be so clean. And I actually worked on Saturday, which was really weird. I have not worked on a weekend in a very, very long time. So when I was a vet nurse, I would work shift work, and I, for quite some time, did the Saturday, Sunday night shifts on triage. That was my role. And then I ended up dropping down to 1 day a week on the weekends, Saturday night. that sounds so weird. I used to work every Saturday night when I was doing my master's because I wanted to work. I wanted to continue working through my master's. So Saturday night on triage at an emergency veterinary hospital was my thing. I don't even know where I was at. It just cut me off. So yeah, it feels really weird to say now that previously I worked every Saturday night. And yeah, then my boss at my private practice, he has started doing these body composition clinics. We have a bioelectrical impedance analysis machine that we use in private practice. It not only does weight, but it assesses muscle mass, fat mass, and visceral fat as well around your organs. So I mean, it's not 100% accurate, and it depends on the day, like how much fluid you've had, your exercise, if you've had a shower, etc. So like there's all of this criteria that you should adhere to make the result as accurate as possible. I had agreed to do this body comp clinic, and I had about 20 people come through on Saturday, and they were booked in for like 10-minute slots. So they came in, did the body scan. We had like a quick overview of their results, and then they were on their way. And to a few people, I was recommending to come in and see me. But yeah, we'll see if they do come in and see me. But it was actually so much fun. But then afterwards, I went and caught up with one of my friends. We went and had a little late lunch date. No, actually, it wasn't late. It was like 12:30. So we had a little lunch date. And then on Saturday night, I had one of my friends over for dinner. And I went to Woolies. She said that she wanted meat and veg, just something basic. So I went to Woolies and I got one of those butterfly chickens, and it was like a Greek-inspired marinade on there. And I chucked it in the air fryer, made like a really nice Greek salad to go alongside it. And of course, we had to have some garlic bread to go alongside. It was so, so good. And then we watched a documentary as well. So I don't know if anybody's heard of Louis Theroux. I don't even know how to say his surname. Theroux. So he's a documentary maker, and he recently did this doco on the manosphere, which I had never heard of before. And it really opened my eyes, this documentary. I love watching documentaries. So basically, he went around and he followed these, I don't even know what you would call these men, influencers? Probably influencers. They're very influential on young men by the looks of it. So anyways, he followed around these influencers, interviewed them, and basically these men, they are quite misogynistic, and they are selling all sorts of things. So they have this app, which I hadn't really heard of before, Telegram, that you can subscribe to, and the subscribers go on there, they pay, and they receive advice and also exclusive access to whatever they're posting on there. And one of the guys in particular, he posted some really interesting content, and it was like OnlyFans vibes and all sorts of shit. He was particularly disgusting, but the other men, that they all were quite similar, like they all objectified women and talked very openly about sleeping with multiple women. Two of them were in relationships. One was married with kids. The other one was in a relationship where he said she had to be monogamous, but he was allowed to have an open relationship. And also having the best of both worlds. They have a stable partner who they can always go back to. But then they have the luxury of having sexual experiences with lots of other women as well. So I don't know where the world is going these days in terms of relationships. I am not here to judge. Absolutely not here to judge. But when these men are promoting what they do and talking about women in a certain way, one in particular, he owned a company that they managed OnlyFans girls. But then the way he spoke about these girls, he would say, that's disgusting. And in the future, if any of my kids did OnlyFans, I'd disown them. That sort of thing. And honestly, everybody has a choice. They can do whatever they would like. These girls that put themselves out there on OnlyFans, or if they do decide to do sex work, whatever it is, that is their choice. They are adults. They are making that decision. Nobody is forcing them to do it. And quite frankly, they are actually doing quite well. They're quite successful. They're making lots of money off this. So at the end of the day, they're not doing it for no reason. They know that they can make decent financial gain from this. So who is this guy to judge them? Who is anybody to judge them, really? They can do whatever they would like, as long as it's not hurting anybody. I honestly have no real opinion about this. I honestly don't care. Go off, Queens. But this documentary was so eye-opening. Like, I swear to God, pretty much the whole time, my jaw was like on the ground. I was just like, I cannot believe what comes out of these men's mouths and how much they belittle women and just humiliate them as well. Like one of them, he had a podcast and he would invite women on there to have a discussion, or so they thought. And then he would absolutely grill them on certain topics and make them feel awful. They were arguing back and forth with him and he would just absolutely slam down anything that they would say. He would not allow them to speak. It was very confronting and it was very disrespectful. These poor women. And I'm not sure if they knew what they were getting themselves into, or if they felt like maybe they had listened to the podcast before and they felt like they could challenge him. So that's why they went on there. But he was not having a bar of it. He's like, nah, I'm shutting you down. It's honestly concerning that there are people like this out there. Most of their audience was very young boys/men. And they showed a lot on the documentary of these people walking around in public and like in public places, and young boys coming up wanting to have photos with them and telling them that they were an inspiration to them and how much they looked up to them, which was really sad because you would listen to all of the things that they were saying and you're like, oh my gosh, what is going to happen to this generation if they are listening to the advice from men like this? They are very influential, these people, and the way that they speak is with so much certainty. And also, the one thing that they have as well is financial freedom. They have built X net worth. These young people are looking up to them and saying, I want to have money like you. I want to be like you. I want to own a Lamborghini, etc. But I don't know. It just gives very scammy vibes. Like one of them in particular, he had a company where people would invest and apparently it was super dodgy according to the documentary maker. He had invested some money and I think it went a bit I think it went a bit pear-shaped. So, yeah, not good. Not good at all. So, yeah, this was very eye-opening, and I honestly hope that I never, ever meet anybody like this in my entire life, because you know what I'm like. I would absolutely cause a scene if somebody was speaking to me the way that these men were speaking to literally everybody that they came into contact with. They were just, for once, I'm speechless. I have no words to describe these people. It's just mind-blowing that people like this exist. And the way that they speak as well, they believe so deeply in everything that they say. They've even brainwashed themselves. Their morals, their ethics, just not there. Just not it. Definitely not in line with any of my values and morals. But anyways, if you want to be mind blown, go and watch this documentary. It's on Netflix. So there is another documentary that I really want to watch, and it's about America's Next Top Model. I think it's on Netflix as well, but it basically looks at all of the snippets over the years of America's Next Top Model, and I want to say that people actually come on there as well and talk about what was going on behind the scenes as well. But I think that from memory, when I used to watch America's Next Top Model, they put everything in there. Like, didn't matter how the judges were speaking to the models, they would absolutely air everything. And I remember, this is even when I was like a young teenager, I remember that the judges would make comments about the girls' appearances and also their stomach, how bloated they were, things like that. And they would say things like, you shouldn't be moving in this particular way because it makes you look XYZ. And one in particular, maybe this was Australia's Next Top Model actually. I'm pretty sure she was Australian. But this girl had eaten blueberries one morning before a photo shoot, and one of the judges absolutely went off and was like basically calling her stupid because she had like staining on her teeth from the blueberries. And like the way that they just spoke to these girls was so belittling, and they absolutely didn't deserve that. I don't know, like it's so bizarre. You wouldn't get away with that these days. Absolutely not. Like, I honestly think seeing that on TV, this reality TV show, probably did contribute to a lot of my disordered eating patterns when I was that age. And I looked up to these models and these famous supermodels that were now the judges on the show and wanted to look a certain way. But anyways, I really do want to watch this documentary, but I think I may get a little bit triggered. I wasn't as triggered as I thought that I would be watching this manosphere documentary, but because I am a little bit of a feminist. But anyways, that's a discussion for another day. But yeah, then today I went for a little walkie with one of my friends. We did the Trig walk. I love a little coastal walk. And you know, it was really cute. We went to the same place that I always go for coffee, and the guy that works there remembered my name, and he doesn't serve me every single time. So it was so cute that he remembered my name. Like every time I see him, like his eyes kind of light up and he's like, hey, but I've never heard him say my name. He's not like, hey, Nikki. He just says hi. But he remembered my name, which was really cute. People notice you. Like even, like obviously every time I see him, I'm very friendly because I go there quite often. But when you think people don't notice you, but they really do. And it kind of like, I don't know, it just makes you feel good inside. You're like, oh, that's very sweet. But anyways, then what did I do afterwards? I filmed something, which I then didn't go on to edit. I'm so bad. I have been filming so much, like little random things in the kitchen, and then just never editing them and never posting them. I have had a complete mental block lately, and I met up with my business coach, Taylor, the other day. So I've been working with her for a few months, and I just said to her, like, I don't know what's wrong with me lately. Like, I just absolutely have this block in my brain, and I just can't do it. I don't know why. Like, I've gone down to probably posting a couple of times a week and definitely not doing as many reels as I used to. But I feel like something just needs to really kick me up the butt and say, Nikki, come on, like, you need to do something. But I guess this kind of like decrease in motivation has coincided with everything that's going on with my parents. So like probably the past like few weeks, everything has taken a sort of backseat, which to a certain extent it's normal, but I think I do need to be a little bit more organized and set days. That's what's dropped off. Like, I set days for myself to work on social media and get everything done. The past few weeks, that has absolutely been out the window. I have been so busy and it's just not happening. But anyways, I think I need to just I don't know what to do. I think I just literally need to get back into it. What can I do? What else can I do? I have no other option. Like, just need to get shit done. But anyways, so Nikki's job for the next week is to be more consistent with posting. I've also been very terrible with responding to people and responding to people's text messages, which I already was a little bit bad before, but now it's like next level. I was like scrolling through my messenger yesterday with one of my friends sitting there, and she was just like, Nikki, you have so many unopened messages. And I was like, yeah, I know. What can I say? I was like, I prioritize who I want to respond to. And one of my other friends asked me the other week, he was like, so what's the best platform to message you on? And I was like, probably my dietitian Instagram. But then again, I'm still bad with messaging. And he was like, okay, good to know. Because he did message me. Like we literally had like days between messages. You know, when you do that, you like open, respond the next day. Anyways, we eventually organised a catch up. So I did see him last week. I went out to lunch yesterday to Mary Street Bakery, and I need to do a little reel or a post on this because I ordered a Danish on the side of my lunch because I was looking in the cabinet. I was like, oh my gosh, those blueberry Danishes look so good. And I would always assume that under the blueberries is custard. I took a bite of the Danish and one, there was no custard. It was like a homemade jam of some sort. Two, the Danish was stale. It was not crisp. It was soft. It was not flaky. The pastry was not flaky at all. And I was so disappointed. I give it a 0 out of 10. 0 out of 10. Because to me, a Danish should have custard in it, not jam plus blueberries. It was just too much. I would say I never regret eating food, except when it is below my expectations. So if I go to a bakery and I order some sort of pastry, I expect the pastry to be flaky and crisp. When it's soggy, no, it's not it. And when I get a Danish that doesn't have custard in it, I am disappointed. I honestly was pissed off. I was like, nah, I did eat it all, but it wasn't to my likings. I am a little bit fussy with my baked items, Probably like the best sweets that I've ever had is when we were in Paris. Honestly, everything is amazing. I could eat at a bakery every day. Breakfast, lunch, maybe not dinner. Breakfast and lunch, yeah. The Danish was shite. Maybe it would have been slightly better if we went earlier in the day and it wasn't sitting in the cabinet all day, but still. Other than that, I had like some lentil. I want to say, no, I didn't. So I had the zucchini and corn fritters, had an egg on top, had a nice salad alongside it, and some delicious yogurty, creamy sauce, which was amazing. So all in all, I did enjoy my meal. The Danish did ruin it a little bit. Oh, the other thing that I did on the weekend is I bought a pram, not for me, for my sister. So I'm going to be an auntie. I am so excited. So excited. I think potentially I was born to be an auntie. You know when people say that they're like born to be a mum? I think I'm born to be an auntie. So the day that my sister told me, I've just been like bouncing off the walls and so excited to meet my little nephew. Now I know that we are expecting a little boy in the family and I'm so excited. This child is going to be so spoiled. So I have been doing a lot of research into the pram because my sister, she is not very into things like this, and her partner said, oh, we don't need like a fancy pram. And I was like, you leave it to me. Nikki will sort this out. Okay. So I was doing research. I like the look of the bugaboos. So she really needed a pram that was compact for her car. And I was tossing up between the Fox and the Chameleon. Why do they have to have such weird names? Anyways, so I ended up getting the Bugaboo Chameleon 3. I didn't buy it brand new. I ended up getting it secondhand and it is in such good condition. I was very, very happy with my purchase, and it even came with like some like padding that the person that owned it before had bought like additionally, and it is super cute, has super cute patterns on it. It's sort of like a tan beige color as well, and black. It is very cute. I am so excited to give it to my sister, and yeah, now I'm thinking, what else can I buy the baby? I'm so bad. I'm so terrible. But this is going to be such a spoiled little bubby. I'm excited. And so she's like 16 weeks now. 16 weeks, maybe just over. So yeah, I'm very excited. I have talked long enough, so I'm getting off. So I hope everybody liked this little recap, and I need to get back into doing my Reddit series and actually doing educational stuff. So yeah, maybe I will plan to do some stuff tomorrow, but I will keep you posted on things, and I am going to record another episode next Thursday. I need to be better at this. I need to be more organized. So yeah, I will be in your ears again very soon. Thanks for listening, guys. Bye.